And now to our continuing coverage of the countdown to SEPTA's massive service cuts. Tens of thousands of riders have just 6 days left to find a new commute.
SEPTA says those cuts are necessary unless they get more funding from the state. But state leaders have failed to reach any kind of deal. Today, riders are reaching out for answers as these cuts get closer and closer.
NBC 10 has team coverage tonight. We begin with NBC 10's Lauren Mayk. Lauren, one group out there, a group of riders that is, took their concerns right to the source.
Yeah, Fred, this was about pushing Senator Joe Picozzi here in the Northeast to push for SEPTA funding. Now, the group that came here to send a message, initially they had said they would stay inside Senator Picozzi's office until a budget was passed with SEPTA funding. Now, there is no budget deal at this point, but that protest has ended for now. Inside Pennsylvania Senator Joe Picozzi's office in Northeast Philadelphia, a protest focused both on the politician who represents this area and on the larger issue of funding SEPTA, arguing both riders and the state's economy depend on it.
When you hamstring Philadelphia, it will ripple across the state.
Organized by the 215 People's Alliance and attended by some of Senator Picozzi's constituents, the idea was to stay here until a budget is reached. Some here expressing disappointment in Picozzi's actions and vote in Harrisburg.
I like Joe Picozzi, but I need him to listen to us, his constituents.
My hopeful optimism was dashed last week when the senator voted in lockstep with his fellow Republicans for a fake funding bill.
Picozzi has been facing pressure from constituents and Democrats in the region to get SEPTA the funding it needs. He's in an unusual position, a Republican from Philly in the Republican-controlled state Senate, so his voice is a significant one. He backed a plan to use transit fund dollars for 2 years, but SEPTA says that money is needed for capital projects and won't work for them. I talked to him about it last week.
Do you think they're wrong?
Well, listen, we are going to give them, our proposal was to give them every penny that the governor said he wanted to give them. And they said no. They said, even if you give us the money, we're still going to cut service. So to me, that's incredibly disappointing. And it begs a question of, are you just asking for, are you essentially holding our riders hostage to get the exact deal you want? Or do you really need the money now to stop this crisis?
SEPTA has said it needs a long-term sustainable funding solution. Meanwhile, SEPTA's schedule impacts start on Monday.
So we're just out here trying to give people information about how to plan for the next coming week.
SEPTA today with ambassadors out on the ground to help riders get ready. Marian Anderson says her route won't be eliminated, but another nearby route is.
So it's going to be really crowded, less frequent.
Back at Senator Picozzi's office, the protest here ended about 2.5 hours after it started, with no arrests, but those who came to send a message planning to be back tomorrow. Now, Senator Picozzi put out a statement this afternoon that reads in part, quote, "I respect the right of people to make their voices heard, but disrupting our ability to serve the community is not the way to achieve progress. My focus remains on delivering a solution that ensures safe, reliable SEPTA service with real accountability and transparency. I will continue to fight for a deal that serves the best interests of the people of Northeast Philadelphia and our city as a whole." Now, the House nor the Senate were in session today, but I'm told there were negotiations over the weekend. Live in Northeast Philadelphia, I'm Lauren Mayk, NBC 10 News.
And this is not the only countdown weighing on the minds of families this week. Just one day after those SEPTA cuts go into effect, thousands of students are headed back to school, and many of them rely on SEPTA to get there. NBC 10's Aaron Baskerville is live at the 69th Street Transportation Center, where SEPTA is getting the word out to riders affected by these cuts. Aaron.
Yeah, that blitz is on right now, Jackie. You heard about the SEPTA ambassadors and Lauren's story. They were also out here this morning during the morning rush hour. They will be back here tomorrow evening from 4 to 6 for the evening rush hour to alert all of the riders that will be impacted by this. We are at the 69th Street Transportation Center. Take a look around. Obviously, it's bustling. People are here. They are trying to get that ride home, but this is what everybody is upset about. You see it right there. Just a couple of those bus routes, 32 in total, that will be eliminated. As we all know by now, Monday is the start of school in Philadelphia. If you don't have a plan, time is running out.
This going on with the transportation and all, it's just too much. And with me, I get overwhelmed.
Stressed out and desperate for a solution. We met Yolanda Lewis and her 6-year-old grandson at the Frankfurt Transportation Center after they just left school orientation. Lewis tells us she has no idea how he'll get to class in 6 days.
Pretty much, I guess, Uber or Lyft. But again, I'm not working. I'm unemployed right now, so it's hard.
So you don't have that extra money to find somewhere else to...
I don't even have a job, so with the extra money, where it's coming from? It don't make no sense. Give these people what they need.
Around the corner, Breanne Dayton and her 2 kids are going through the exact same emotions. SEPTA is eliminating 32 bus routes and shortening more than a dozen others starting Sunday. According to the Philadelphia School District, 55,000 students rely on SEPTA every school day.
With all the SEPTA cuts, we're going to have to do Uber and Lyft, which is going to cost a lot of money.
And do you have that money right now, that extra money to pay for them to get to school?
Right now, no, we don't.
Time ran out for SEPTA last Thursday. The transit agency set a deadline of August 14th to receive vital state funding to close its $213 million budget shortfall. That didn't happen, so severe budget cuts start in 5 days, 1 day before the beginning of school. Are you planning for absences? Because families are saying, I might not just be able to get my kid to school.
We can do everything we can to get our kids to school on time and be present every day.
That is the goal. Hopefully that happens over the next week or so. One last look out here. This is one of 12 locations tomorrow during the evening rush that SEPTA ambassadors will be out here alerting riders, hopefully giving them some alternate route. We, of course, also talked to the superintendent some more. He says that nobody will be penalized if they arrive to school late because of this whole ordeal. We also, of course, reached out to the mayor's office to see if they have a plan in place for all of these students. They told me no announcement yet as of today. For now, we're live in Upper Darby in Baskerville, NBC 10 News.